If I had to start filmmaking again in 2025, literally from zero, I wouldn't waste my money on most of the gear that you see out there online that you're told to buy by all these influencers. Here's exactly what I'd buy for documentary filmmaking, commercial work, getting clients, and the gear that will not collect dust on my desk. See all this back here? Not collecting dust. We're gonna buy the gear that is the most important. First and foremost, I think probably the most important thing is the actual camera itself. In today's standards, we are talking camera and lenses. They're not the same thing. You have different lenses for different needs and different cameras for different needs. If you're buying a camera that comes with a lens, that's probably the wrong camera. I have bought so many cameras over the years. When I first started this journey, there wasn't a lot of YouTube content on this. So I would basically go to a camera store and ask the employee, hey, I kind of want to shoot this kind of stuff. What would be a good camera? I can tell you firsthand that I bought a lot of the incorrect camera equipment. And the whole point of this video is so that you don't have to do that. So if I was to start again, I would buy a good camera body. I wouldn't buy an entry-level camera body that I'm gonna need to replace over and over again. I wanna go out and I wanna be able to shoot everything that I wanna shoot, get all the shots that I feel are important to my film or important to my project that I'm working on, and feel comfortable and confident that that camera is gonna be able to perform. Whether that's a Sony a7R5, 4, 3, a Canon R5 Mark II, R5, R6, the new Nikon Red camera I think is really interesting. Any of those types of cameras, I think you can't really go wrong. They both shoot great photo, great video, really versatile. So in terms of bodies, I would just go with one of the higher level bodies. They're probably coming in around 5,000 Canadian dollars. I'm Canadian, not American. I know you're probably thinking like, yeah, that's a huge investment to just start something. Well, it is, but I do think it's the most important or one of the most important aspects of your whole kit. It's your main A cam. It's the piece of equipment that you're going to use the most. Now, at the same time, I don't think that you need to spend a ridiculous amount of money to just be a filmmaker. But again, if I was to start again, this is just me personally, that's what I would do. I would buy a good camera body. And honestly, the next part would be I would buy a solid lens. Not all lenses are made equal, but lenses will outlast your camera body if you take care of them. The glass is probably the most important for the type of picture you want to create. So with that being said, personally, if you were just to buy one lens and call it a day and bring it with you on every single project that you ever shoot, it would have to be a 24-70 f2.8. I think that that's pretty tried and true in this industry. I wouldn't say that that's my favorite lens, but if I was just to buy one, that would be the most adequate for every situation. If you were to get a second lens, my personal favorite lens would be a 35mm 1.4. It's not even an expensive lens at all. I bought this used 10 years ago for $900 Canadian. I'm Canadian. If you're ever getting the itch to get a 35mm, the Sigma Art 1.4 35mm is absolutely incredible. It's not a silent motor lens, so when it's focusing, you will hear like the other than that, it's absolutely incredible. So that would be my honorary mention. 24-70 would be the winner, but 35mm is awesome. Your camera body will record audio. It has a built-in microphone. The audio that it does record is going to be very bad, and I wouldn't recommend, unless you absolutely need to, using it. Now, a lot of softwares have, AI things that can enhance voices and make it usable. But if you're going to be producing commercial level content, documentaries, YouTube videos, things like this, you're going to want really, really crisp audio. That's what separates your content from being very amateur to very professional. I've used lots of mics over the years. I've used podcast mics. I've used the Rode shotgun mics on top of your camera. And this particular mic is my favorite mic I've ever used. This is just a dead cat on it. Let me just take that off. This is my personal favorite, the Sennheiser MKE 400. It sounds great, it's small, compact, and it's not expensive. So that is definitely a winner. So we are 3 out of 5 things so far. You can pretty much think about this like sunglasses for your camera. When you walk outside and it's very bright and you squint, well, your camera's kind of doing that too. When you're doing video work, you want your shutter speed to be basically twice your frame rate. And there's some exceptions to that, but if you want to keep it at the aperture that you're wanting and the shutter speed that you're wanting, and you walk outside and your whole frame is completely white, well, there's a way to fix that without having to jump your aperture up to f8 and your shutter speed to, 1/200. The way to do that is ND filters. This particular brand of ND filters are incredible. This is actually the Peter McKinnon version of ND filters. These are nice because they're magnetic, so they just kind of snap on. They're variable, so I don't know if you can see this, but they get darker and brighter, darker, brighter. Basically what these do is it allows you to keep your frame rate and aperture at what you'd actually want them to if it was perfect lighting. These come in a multitude of different things. You don't have to get the Peter McKinnon version of these because these are one of the more expensive ones, but they're also built really well. I've never broken one of these. I've broken so many other ones. So I mean, they're all like around at least $100. This one I think is like $300. I've never had to replace it. I've had to replace the $100 ones so many times. If you have multiple lenses, get it bigger than your lens. So get it at the 82 mil thread, and then just get step down or step up filters, like the rings that attach to your lens. And then you just have to buy one. You don't have to buy multiple, which saves you money. We're at 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 items. That's 8, actually 4. We're talking 4. Now the last item, God, there's so many items. I could keep going forever. Now the last item is maybe controversial, but I would get a tripod. I know that kind of sounds stupid, but I use a tripod so much. It's so nice. I'm using one right now. I personally really like stationary shots that you create movement within your frame. The tripod I'm currently using is my favorite one, and that's why I'm using it, because it's my favorite one. And it's called the Ulanzi and Komon Zero. Ulanzi and Komon Zero. And why I like this tripod, I've tried many tripods, is because it's very light. It's really easy to twist the legs out. Some tripods do this thing. I think I have one here. Some tripods do this thing and they like have this twist like that goes like this, and that's how it comes out. I find this incredibly annoying. I don't know if other people feel that way. I was literally on set one time and I was complaining about this, or I was traveling, I was complaining about this thing because I was like, I hate how this twists. And they were like, oh, you just twist them all at once and they all drop down. And I'm like, who does that? Does anybody else do that? Because I don't do that. Yeah, so this collects dust in this box over here because I hate using it. The Ulanzi Komon Zero has like snaps. So basically like they snap into place and they lock. So I think that's super nice. Okay, honorable mentions, let's go. I think lighting is super important. It's very underrated to be able to get all the cinematic shots you want. It also makes you look really professional when you're on set if you come with lots of lights and light things the way that you want to light them and make sure that they're lit adequately for what you're filming. Even just having portable lights like the tube light, cube light, or the Amarin 100Ds and some small stands are going to be really awesome for upping your production value of your filmmaking business. This is the Osmo Pocket 3. This is a little action camera that this is all gimbal. So if you just flip this screen, you'll see it'll go. I think this thing is awesome. The film quality is way better than you'd ever expect it to be. I think it's really fun to be able to like run alongside someone, get some really good footage and not have to have a humongous gimbal with you. Even just like hitting this, I don't know if you can see this right now, but I turn this and it turns on to me. Now I'm filming myself. I can vlog with this. The audio is really good. It comes with the DJI mic as well, which is really awesome. So I really like the Osmo Pocket 3. I think it's really versatile. We actually just shot a film in Moab of the Moab 240 race. I brought a friend of mine who is not a filmmaker, but wanted to kind of see how we make films and all that kind of stuff. And he helped in so many other ways on the trip. But I basically just gave him this and was like, just film all kinds of behind the scenes stuff, get some second angles, just have fun with this thing. I want to see what you can create with it. I was blown away by the footage. I think it's incredible. Yeah, these Osmo Pockets are awesome. I highly recommend. Our final honorable mention is going to be a drone. Having different levels of shots is going to be really cool for your viewing experience. So whether it's way up in the air and you're filming top down, getting like big scenic shots, all that kind of stuff is going to come from your drone. They're somewhere over here. I think there's one right here. Any of the DJI drones are going to be incredible. Even just getting one of the minis are going to be more than enough. If you really want to amp it up, the Mavics and things like that are great drones, but it just gives a different perspective for your videos. You can just film a perimeter shot. You can film, a wide open kind of shot. There's just so many different ways that You can capture the landscape, scenery, and just give context to your viewer of where you are, or capture beauty, or honestly, it's just kind of fun flying them around. So if I was starting again, this is exactly what I would buy. I think it's all really relevant equipment. Maybe we can make a part 2 and I can dive more into like my actual kit and talk more about that kind of stuff. But for now, I think this stuff is gonna be so great. But if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.